7th. After October 7th, the All Black National Convention will not. The discounted hotels will be gone, so you may want to get your hotel now. Also, remember this: if you go to abnchotel.com, that's a direct link, or you can also go to allblacknationalconvention.com. And the other thing that I want to mention is that the price at the door will be higher than the online price. So you want to get your tickets online if you want to join us at the convention. I hope you guys will join us. It's really going to be a lot of fun. It's always fun, and you'll learn a lot, and your kids will even learn too. Norman Dixon, Dr. Boyce, when will the people who purchase tickets to the ABC get the schedule, the seminars, and classes? Actually, right now, it should be up there. If you go to allblacknationalconvention.com, it's all right there. Let me think here. Chanel, could you check just to make sure that that whole schedule's up there? I know that I told the team to put it up there, and I believe it's up there. But if you could just double check that, I would appreciate that very, very much. All right, let's see here. If you had 200,000, would you recommend buying stocks due to the market being volatile, or paying cash on a real estate deal? You know what? If I had $200,000 extra, I wouldn't do either one. I think that both of those moves are somewhat risky. What you really want to remember is that you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So the upside of the stock market is that prices are low compared to what they were in the past, right? That's the upside. The downside of this market is twofold. One, you got crazy volatility. Your market right now is very bipolar. It can give you sunshine today, thunderstorms tomorrow, and that's really tough to deal with. And also, the other downside of this market is nobody knows what the future is going to look like for this market. For all you know, you could be entering into a 10-year bear market. You really could. This has happened before all throughout the world, where there have been scenarios where the stock market went down and didn't come back up for a decade. Okay, go check the Great Depression. You had a lot of that happen then. So, so what I'm thinking here is, this is not investing advice, but if I had $200,000, number one, I would keep some of that in cash, maybe at least 10% of that in cash, just because cash, sure, you're losing money because of inflation, but you're losing more money if you're invested in the stock market. So I would keep some in cash or some sort of low risk or risk free security. Because right now some of these T bills are paying really good money. They're paying over 4%. So you can lock in. Even savings accounts at banks are starting to pay more money. So why not consider putting some of that money in a savings account and letting it grow by 4% a year or whatever? That's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's actually one of the threats to stocks, is that part of the reason the stock market did so well in the last decade was because there was no other alternative to the market. Now there are alternatives. You went from what they call TINA, which is there is no alternative, to TARA, which is there are reasonable alternatives. So basically, the stock market is not the only game in town anymore. So $100 billion, according to Goldman Sachs, they actually estimate that $100 billion is going to be leaving the stock market in 2023. And a lot of that money ain't never coming back because a lot of people are just traumatized and scared. Your boomers are getting older. They're not enjoying watching their they're not enjoying. There you go. Just like Janet. Janet says, I'll be 70 on Friday. And Janet says, she said, I have health problems. And I'm very sorry to hear that, Janet. But she said, I didn't enjoy watching my portfolio drop. So a lot of people, Janet's a boomer. She ain't coming back. She's like, no, I'm not messing with this stuff. Right. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right. So ultimately, you're looking at changes in the market that are very difficult to predict. So if I had that 200,000, I put some of it in cash or low risk securities. I would then take some of it, put it in the stock market. I would look for some high quality companies, the Apples and Microsofts and Googles and all that. Amazon just prints money. I just love that stock a lot. Every time the market goes down, I start buying more Amazon. I just stockpile Amazon stock. And I buy Tesla too, periodically, because it kind of adds a little spice to my portfolio. And also this week, if you log in at the blackstockmarketprogram.com, or actually just go to the blackbusinessschool.com, look for the Black Stock Market Program, you'll see that the stocks that I recommended to you guys on Sunday, I remember buying every single one of those stocks. Some weeks I buy them all, some weeks I don't. But every stock I recommend is a stock that I would buy. Sometimes you just, I run out of money like everybody else. All my money tends to be working for me. So ultimately, this week I really like the stocks that we picked for this week, and most of them are actually doing better because of the market rally. So if you followed some of that or paid attention to some of that, you probably made some money by now. But anyway, at that point, I would then go into real estate, but I wouldn't pay all cash. I would put down a healthy down payment. And again, now mind you, I want to just let you know this is my preference. This is kind of how I'd approach it. So, like the last time I bought a property, I put down 20% because I like to have equity. I just like to own equity. And the thing is that people, um, I've seen some of my friends who are, real estate folks who I felt for a long time that they were a little overcommitted to leverage. And now you're seeing that pain. Now some of them aren't going to tell you, but they are being body slammed by this downturn, especially once the real estate market starts to follow suit with the rest of the economy, which is kind of already starting to do that. They're getting killed. They're getting killed because leverage, the upside of leverage is if the economy is doing well, yeah, you're going to make money. But if the economy goes bad, equity is king, cash is king, ownership is king. And so the people who don't own anything, who kind of just borrow, who want to control everything, but don't need to necessarily own more than a little bit of it, so they can control as much as possible. Those people are getting hit pretty hard, in my opinion. So that's my 2 cents. All right. Let's see here. If you had to, oh, sorry. Okay. Ronnie David is asking, my students would like to know your thoughts on Tesla, specifically its long-term growth, competition, and volatility. All right. So Ronnie's got his students at Queens Technical High School in class, which I think is going to be, it's so awesome. I'm telling you guys, y'all don't understand. Y'all don't realize the stuff that I'm talking to you all about is cutting edge stuff. This is stuff, I know that we think that white people are the leaders in everything, but this is stuff most 98% of all white people don't know these things. Okay. So, believe me, I've taught them. I taught smart Jewish kids that went off to, Wall Street and are making millions of dollars right now. So, what I'll say to you is that the fact, Ronnie, that you got these kids listening to this stuff now, it's going to make a massive difference. Like some of those kids are going to be multimillionaires, maybe a couple might be billionaires. So I lay out that billionaire challenge. Which one of y'all is going to be the first billionaire in that class? Because if you're making investment moves now, time is everything. The earlier you start, the better off you are, even if you only have two nickels to rub together. If you get two nickels, you put one nickel in the stock market, you spend the other nickel. If that's what you want to do, you do that consistently, you're going to be really rich by the time you're, still really young, like in your 20s or 30s. So long story short, Tesla. What do I think about Tesla? Well, I like Tesla. Tesla is like a magical company because Elon Musk is kind of like a real life Iron Man, where he just does these amazing things and has these crazy inventions. And I think he came out with some sort of a robot or something recently. It was an ugly looking robot. I think that there are better robots out there, but he came out with a robot, which I think is pretty cool. He's trying to go to Mars and everything else, and I guess he'll take his robots to Mars. And I just love all of that. And also the other thing with Elon Musk is that he does a good job of meeting his production numbers with the productions of Tesla vehicles, which I think is cool too. The downside of Tesla stock is it's typically trading at a what they call a price earnings ratio or a multiple that is far higher than what it should be. A lot of people are questioning how just the elevated height of the stock in terms of price because they're comparing it to other automobile companies, right? They're saying, wait a minute, Ford doesn't have a multiple like that. Toyota doesn't have a multiple like that. So why does Tesla have such a crazy high multiple? And what people are saying is that, well, Tesla really isn't an automobile manufacturer. They're really a technology company. And that's the big debate with Tesla. And also they seem to, at this point, have been able to do things a lot of companies can't do. I have a hard time believing that eventually Mercedes-Benz and Chevy or Ford and all these other companies aren't going to figure out how to do what Tesla's doing. Also, remember Apple. is looking to get into the same business as Tesla. I think they're talking about Apple cars and all this other crap where they're partnering with some automobile manufacturer. Amazon is partnered with Rivian, and they're doing electric vehicle type stuff. So I just kind of feel like the space is going to get more crowded, and I think the specialness of Tesla stock is going to decline over time. I also want you to remember this. Elon Musk is a man who's over the age of 50, who is incredibly who takes a lot of risks, who's very emotional and volatile, and is getting in lots of fights, so, which makes him really interesting on one hand, but it's very risky on the other. He's been sued many, many times by his shareholders because they feel like he's out here acting like a damn donkey on the internet. I think the other day he got into a fight with the president of Ukraine over the war, and he's also involved in this litigation over Twitter, where he made the emotional mistake of overbidding for Twitter, and now they're forcing him to buy Twitter. It's a shotgun wedding. He doesn't want to go through with it because it was an irrational decision. And so what that makes me wonder is there a point where Elon Musk goes down? Is there a point where he dies in the shower from a heart attack? Is there a point where he gets sent to prison because he's violated, some securities law? Is there a point where, where he just gets canceled and people just, he gets caught in a scandal or something? I don't know. And what I mean by that is that this creates what is called key man risk. And key man risk is where you have this whole economic empire that's really built on the reputation of one man. And if you want to see an example of where key man risk can really burn you, look at Bill Cosby, look at Tiger Woods. Those two guys were walking corporations. They're human individual brands. They're living, breathing brands were worth over $1 billion because everybody loved them. Well, when everyone stopped loving them, lots of people lost hundreds of millions of dollars because of that. So Elon Musk, I think Tesla, I own Tesla. I buy Tesla regularly to add to my portfolio because it's a beautiful, spicy stock. It's fun to own. But I would not make the mistake of overcommitting to Tesla because, again, if Elon Musk slips in the shower tomorrow and dies, then Tesla stock drops by 50%. Okay, so keep that in mind. What do you think about SGML? Barbara, I don't know that stock. So if you log in and leave that question for me next week, I will look it up for you and I will give you my personal assessment. And let's see, Rarick, I just want to personally tell you thank you for all that you do. Well, thank you for that those kind words, Rarick. I appreciate that. You've not only changed my life, but you've changed the life of my two babies, one that is 14, the other one's 8 months old. Good for you. Yeah, remember, I want everybody to just understand when I'm teaching you these things, it would really disappoint me if you only keep this information inside your own head. I'm teaching you because I really want you to be the teacher in your own family. I want you to feel confident enough to introduce your family to at least very basic principles that will change the economic culture in your household and in your circle. You don't have to teach them all the fancy stuff. You don't have to teach them all the advanced concepts. Basic principles can change somebody's life. Just basic things like if you want to build your wealth, then you have to avoid debt, watch your spending, make sure you invest consistently, make sure you own an asset. Little things like that, like just basic things like that, cultural shifts, even without all the fancy degrees and big thick books and all that, those little basic things right there will make a huge difference in somebody's life. So incorporate those values and don't overthink it. Just pick couple of simple concepts and keep pressing that with your kids. And then you'll be amazed at what difference it makes. I became interested in financial stuff because my grandmother bought me savings bonds when I was little. My grandmother had an associate's degree and never made more than $22,000 a year. So she wasn't a millionaire. She didn't have a PhD. She just would tell me little things like, if you spend all your money, then you won't have any money. You got to save your money, or it's better to own your house than it is to have the bank own your house. And those little ideas stayed with me when I went and made the conscious decision to go get more information. So your goal isn't to give your child all the information they need. Your goal is to set a spark that will encourage them to go get the information that they want to go get. And that's easy for you because then you're not forcing it down their throat. They're going to get the information because they want it. Their value system has been adjusted. So if I have a choice between teaching you, a bunch of stuff or versus changing your value system. I'd rather change your value system and your culture, because that's going to shape what you want to learn. You're going to go do the work at that point. You're going to be the engine behind all that. I don't have to micromanage you anymore. That's how I mentor my son. I'm his bonus dad, and we work together every day. And I'm not working to necessarily teach him everything that he needs to know. I'm trying to shift his mindset, or not even shift it, but accelerate his mindset, because his mindset's okay. It's not like he's in the toilet or anything, but accelerate his mindset to make him want to be the one to go and get the things that he needs to know. Because it's all out there. All the information that you need to know to be an expert on anything is out there. The internet's full of information. What is your value system? That determines whether or not when you flip on your phone, are you watching tutorial videos on how to use software, how to invest, how to better your life, or are you watching Instagram videos where some stupid rapper is talking about how he got 18 babies, mamas, and shot somebody last week? Believe me, the second video is going to have a whole lot more viewers than the first. So if you're the person that seeks knowledge over drama and silliness, you're going to be in rare company. Most people don't think that way. And the reason is because it does take a little bit, an acquired taste to want to learn. Your brain is trained to be lazy. Your brain is trained to be addicted to toxic stuff, right? Or drama or whatever, right? So it takes a little bit of discipline. It's almost like eating health food, right? It takes a little discipline to sit there and watch a tutorial when you can go watch this juicy video where, the rapper Blueface talks about beating up his girlfriend, right? So that to me explains why, if you look culturally, why you'll see so many more people. Like I watch sometimes. I'll see where some rapper will go live talking about absolutely nothing, and there'll be 10,000 people on the live, just like, hey man, I'm on fronting on you now, man. I'm gonna shoot this motherfucker. Just not even talking about nothing. Like some guy that's gonna be dead in a couple of years. And this speaks to the devastation with the community, but it speaks to the depth of the addiction to nonsense that's out there. Right? People are addicted to this stuff because it's very easy, it's very lazy thinking to be able to just turn on something that's just interesting and fun. And the rare person, the 1 in 10 or whatever, who goes and says, yeah, I've had enough of that. I think I want to go do something that's going to make my life better. That person is going to be a rare company, and they're going to have a rare amount of success. So then at that point, and I know this because I was that person when I was a kid, and when I was in college and my friends were doing stupid stuff, I was the guy that was in the library. And now those same people will call me and they wish that they had the life that I have, because I'm having a whole lot of fun now because I spent my whole life building something that allows me to experience benefits for the rest of my life. So you got to think long term. Just, that's what investing is all about. All right. So what is a T-bill? A T-bill is a treasury bill. They're released by the Treasury to raise money for the federal government. And if you want to buy a T-bill, you can log into E-Trade, and you can buy them like anybody else. I think you have to buy T-bills in bulks of like $10,000. So you got to spend 10 grand. But the rate on the T-bill rate is going up. The T-bill rate used to be absolute garbage. But I want to say, let me see, T-bill rate today. Let me look this up. If you bought a 91-day T-bill rate, the rate is 3.27%. A 2-year Treasury pays 4.3%. That's not bad. That's pretty good. And so for a lot of people, they're sick of the stock market going up and down and acting crazy. So they're just turning to T-bills. And this is going to happen more and more and more, which hurts the market, because the less money there is in the market, the lower prices tend to go. Kim Hitchcock, I had computer problems. How do you look at the recording for today? You know what, Kim, if you log in, Chanel, can you give Kim the direct link to where she can go to get the recording? Every single class is recorded. If you want to get access to the recording, one way to get there, just go to theblackbusinessschool.com, theblackbusinessschool.com, and it's under Black Money 102. And once you sign up for Black Money 102, if you're in there, I assume that you're in there, you can actually get access to what Dr. Boyce is buying, and also Ask Dr. Boyce. And I think that's where Chanel, is that where you put the recordings, under Ask Dr. Boyce? She's in the chat. She can answer that question. Okay. All right. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much everything. I'm gonna just say this in summary. A couple things. One, just to remind you, don't forget the All Black National Convention is happening in 3 weeks now. So if you want to join us in Charlotte, North Carolina, you can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. We don't need any more volunteers. We've already got, thank you for those of you who have volunteered. We have like 100 and something people or something that volunteered. So we're kind of good on that. I think there's a couple vendor spots if you want to go there and make money. There are plenty of people that will be there that are prepared to buy black, and they support the vendors because the vendors support us. That's how we're able to pay for this without going and getting any corporate money. I don't go to Bank of America and Walmart and all that. I don't want them involved in our conversations because sometimes with the convention, it's required for us as black people to be able to have whatever conversation we need to have and bring in whoever we need to bring in to do what we need to do. And I don't want to do that under the watchful eye of America, white America, if you will. Not that we hate white people. I don't hate white people. I ain't got time to hate nobody. But I don't want anybody telling us what to do. So we have some people who are coming who are mainstream, relatively mainstream, like the chairman of the board at the Air Jordan brand, Larry Miller, is going to be there. And he's going to talk about that, how he got the whole world wearing Air Jordans, which is mind boggling to me. But then also we have people like Dr. Christina Parks, who has been very controversial. She gave that viral testimony for the Michigan House of Representatives about the jabs and gave another perspective in terms of how they affect our kids. And she's also talked about like this rise. I don't know if everybody has noticed that rise in autism amongst our kids. And nobody really talks about that. They're not allowed to talk about that. Dr. Parks does. And Dr. Parks was invited because she's our sister and I love her. And I think she's very smart and I think she's worth hearing. So all the different voices are represented. And in order to do that, you got to pay your own bills. Freedom is not free. If you're not ready to pay the bill, then you can't talk about freedom. So that's what our conference is all about. It's about sort of us being able to have the free connections and conversations that allow us to get around like-minded people and to also be able to have the conversations we need to have to make the plans that we need to make so that our families are strong and better in the future. And this is without interference from anybody else. So feel free to join us. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. Also on my website, boycewatkins.com, there's some information there. And as far as the stock market goes, I'll keep you guys posted throughout the week. Basically, I think, just a reminder, I do not think that this market rally is sustainable. I think don't be surprised if tomorrow you see a major dip. And so if you are excited about your stocks going up now, or if you're planning to make a move, sell a little bit of stock or whatever, you might want to do it now, because I don't think that this rally is going to last. I think eventually reality is going to kick back in, because a lot of this price movement is driven by things that are simply not real. So that's my belief. That's my 2 cents. All right, everybody. Well, have a good day. It was great to see you. God bless you. And I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.